Napoleon Hill once said, "Every adversity, every failure, every heartache carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit." And we couldn't agree more. This is Lift Me Up. We're here to have candid conversations about something we all face, trials and heartache. We're here to explore the positives that emerge from these things. We have a blast. Remember, no matter how tough things may seem, there's always a way to rise above. This is Lift Me Up.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Lift Me Up, episode 5, I think we're at now. Six. Okay, 6 now. So we're making some headway again on this season 3. It kind of feels good to get back in the groove of things. I like it.
Yes, it does. I don't know why, but when you opened, it felt very like 1950s TV. Like, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Like, I don't know. I don't know why, but
Jorgensen voice is what
the
we've
voice.
got.
The voice does it. Yeah, it
right.
positions you into that like old school TV. That's what it does. It's wonderful.
Yeah. One time I get complimented on good. See, I'm losing my voice. I don't know how to talk. You're always better at it than I am. But anyway, yeah, super excited to be back. We've got a great guest. We've got Michelle. We will get into her a little bit more, but thank you for being here. We're really excited to
thanks for having me, guys.
Dive into some things. Yeah. So, well, let's just dive right in. Lift Me Up moments for Michelle. As a reminder, we do a Lift Me Up. This is something that has either whether it's in the last week or even something you've been thinking about. Yeah, it could be any time that has either lifted you up spiritually, mentally, whatever it was, or you've had the opportunity to lift somebody else up, which in turn always lifts us up, right? So we just kind of look back on that and just remind ourselves that there are good things in the world and good things going on in our lives. So Nate, I know you said you had yours already, so I'm going to let you start.
I do have mine. This is going to come as no surprise. I had the chance to, I've been away from the house, traveling for work. And I don't know if I talked about this last time, but the month of February, we're recording this in February. And the month of February, I'll sleep in my own bed a total of 6 nights. And
I'm not sure how that's lifting you up, but
no. But hear me out.
Okay.
So I kind of when I am traveling, I'm looking for, I don't know, I'm just kind of looking for things. I think it's a little bit of mental serenity that kind of comes into play when you just kind of have that moment. I was traveling by myself this time. Usually I have a coworker with me, and I will next week. But this week I was going to Florida, and I was leaving the airport in Salt Lake City I think my flight left at like, I don't know, 5:30, 6 o'clock or something like that. So it was early. And of course I'm going east. So the sun's rising as we're kind of coming up into that, that 10, 15,000 feet type of area. And I was lucky enough to get a photo out the window of the airplane of the sunrise just starting to crest on the horizon, way far out there. And it really kind of brought me to this moment of clarity, I guess, like this idea that there's always a sunrise happening, always, right? It's always taking place in some capacity for somebody. There's always a sunrise, equally a sunset. But in this situation, looking at the sunrise and recognizing that most of the time when we have problems, we look at them at a surface level. We look at them right from where we are, and we often just get so knee deep in whatever we're dealing with. And it kind of was a reminder that sometimes getting above the clouds and seeing whatever situation we're dealing with or whatever it might be, sometimes being above and seeing it from above creates an entirely new perspective on our situation. And there's just this calm simplicity about that moment that was really, really, really cool. I ended up writing a LinkedIn post. I think I actually I put it on TikTok. I put the image with just some thoughts on TikTok. And I mean, I think the most I've ever had of views on TikTok was when Lego actually liked my post,
Oh, geez.
you know, because of my Ferrari car. And that was like 800 views or something like that. I think the last time I looked, that particular photo and message was at like 5,000.
Wow.
And sometimes, and there was nothing crazy. I mean, it was just a simple thought. But sometimes, you know, the things that are the easiest and the simplest are the things that create the most clarity. So that was my literal lift me up as I was in an airplane. But also just, you know, I think it was a good thing for my soul. It was really,
I think
really
that's
good.
great. Honestly, it just proves that the happy and positive things are people want to see that more than anything. And so whether you're just some random dude from Idaho and it makes 5,000 views, you know, versus Legos, you know, it's they want to see the positive things in life. I think that's great. I think that's awesome. But
yeah.
So my lift me up moment this week is much simpler than yours, but is I showed Nate a picture. I got my 3-year mark keychain for work that I've been at my job for 3 years. The exciting part of the exciting part of that, last week we had or last episode we had Joey Little, our Vice President and CEO, on. So and you guys heard kind of how I feel about where I'm at and why I'm here in this position I'm in with this company. And so it was a great thing. I'm excited to be there, and I'm even more excited for many more years to come. So that was kind of a lift me up too. So
Cool.
now we'll give Michelle the opportunity to give us her lift me up moment.
So many things were going through my head. The thing that I think that stuck out to me the most was actually yesterday. I just had a chance to serve a girl, and she's struggling with an injury, and I've struggled with an injury throughout this whole year, and it's been a kind of a soul searching year for me. And in the midst of me feeling, yesterday I kind of had like that down moment, and in the midst of me feeling that way, she reached out to me, and all of a sudden my thoughts were taken off myself, and I was able to talk to her, and I was actually counseling her through the same things that maybe I should have been telling myself, but maybe throwing maybe a pity party inside my own mind. And so in turn, when I'm sitting here counseling her through the things that maybe I should have been telling myself, I got done talking to her and I thought, I'm so glad that she reached out to me, because I probably am feeling better off than she is, just because I got to, you know, advise her or whatever. And I think that a lot of this past year I've learned service has kind of been my saving grace. And I think more than anything, because it takes your mind off of yourself, and all of a sudden you're thinking about somebody else, and the problems that you have kind of disappear for a minute. So yeah,
That's great.
That's really good.
A lot about life is finding that self-realization of like what we're supposed to learn. It hits harder when you have to self-realize it, but it helps when others are there to kind of, you know, walk you through it too. So that's a great aspect. But well, we want to introduce Michelle Palmer. She first and foremost is a very close family friend of ours and has been for many, many years, pretty much my entire life, and Nate's as
decades,
well.
Mike.
I
decades.
know. Decades. You can say that legit.
And the weird thing about it is there's layers to this, because
I know
me and Scott, right, and Mike and Trent, and like just that layer of how everything kind of plays out there. So
it's crazy.
Kind of funny.
We're basically family, essentially.
Longfellow Elementary, you know.
Oh yeah,
go Panthers!
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway,
cool,
but So first and foremost, family friend, second, mother of three, athlete, coach, and the founder of CrossFit Tsavo, right? That's how you say it.
Yep.
I always, when I first saw it, I was like, Tsavo.
Tsavo.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
probably get that a
Yeah.
lot, but
Yeah, I do.
Tsavo, it's a CrossFit gym here in Idaho Falls, and I've been very inspired by Michelle, a lot of the things that she's gone through, and been able to help others, and just knowing the family and how you guys work. You guys are very service oriented. You guys are very care about other people. And it shows with the amount of time that each of you, and by that I mean from your parents down, have put a lot of effort into others. I was thinking about this this morning after sitting and talking with your brother Trent last night about baseball, because I'm helping with coaching one of the 11U teams.
Oh, so you're gonna? Oh, okay. You're
Yeah,
gonna do
so
it
I'm
then. Yeah,
helping.
cool.
I'm doing one of those teams this year, and so we're talking a lot on that. But just the amount of effort that your family puts into those things because you enjoy it, and not because it's a job, or even, or just because it's something that's passionate for you guys. Your dad was that way for me growing up as a coach. So very much appreciate you coming on and sharing this, your story with us. So from here, I guess let's have you just give us, let's just start in. Give us a little bit about Michelle and who you are and kind of your journey. Start as far back as you want. And then
Okay.
we can kind of dive into some of the things that you've learned in your life.
Cool. Okay. No, I'm happy to be here, Mike and Nate. So, a little bit about me. Active family. Obviously, you mentioned playing ball, athletics, all those different ways that we were kind of intermixed there. So, yeah, fell in love with just that aspect of being having an active family. Kind of started there. And then me personally, I was a dancer growing up. Um, Learned a lot of things about dance and myself, and went to school on a dance college scholarship. Danced 5 years there. Got a degree in sports science and physical education, and always knew that I was going to do something in the field of fitness, moving, athletics, coaching. Kind of thought maybe I would go the dance route, but wasn't really sure. So got my first job as a personal trainer in a global gym. Um, Worked for kind of in and out of that for about 10 years while I was having kids. I have 3 children. Um, and so, working a little bit, mothering mostly. Um, I guess I'll kind of back up a little bit. Met my husband Luke at a gym, of course. Um,
Also an
he was,
athlete.
yeah, he was playing. He came to Idaho Falls, Idaho, where we're at. Was playing in the Royals organization, and they had just picked up the Checker franchise, and so it was our first year there. I was at the Apple, saw all the team coming in. I started scanning. Um, Naturally looking for the tall ones. I'm tall, and so naturally I was kind of weeding out. Um, and yeah, so that's the first time I spotted my husband. The next day I actually met him. I was a server at Applebee's. The team came in and we met, and basically I can say that we've probably been together ever since. So I went and watched him pitch that night. He'd rather not say him. He'd probably me not say how his first outing went. He didn't know if we'd talk again. um, so yeah, he continued. He went on to play 7 years. I went through college. So yeah, we've always just raised our family the kind of the same way that we grew up, involved in sport and athletics, and so yeah, had my kids were getting older, and I had found CrossFit at the time during kind of my fitness pursuits, and it kind of changed it changed a lot of things for me in a way that fitness to me was always what I looked like, what I weighed. That was my whole perception of fitness, and that was the whole reason why I got into fitness. In high school, I'd drive to the YMCA after school. I'd sit on the elliptical for an hour and then go to dance. And that probably was maybe a little bit influenced by kind of the dance, community, that was my focus. So found CrossFit, changed my whole idea from what I look like to what I can do. And that's probably been like the beginning of I would say like a new mentality for me, because then that just sparked the whole competitive side of me. What can I do, and who am I? Not what I look like and what I weigh. That wasn't a value anymore to me. And so yeah, I pursued that for a while. 2021, opened CrossFit Tsavo, and 5 years later, here we are.
Wow.
So
Okay, so I got to ask.
a lot of details in the middle of there, but yeah, we can revisit those.
So, have you seen the Netflix show Physical 100? You need to.
Okay.
You would eat it alive. You would absolutely absorb it and love it. It's a Korea-based show, but it takes and something that you said really made me think of that. The athletes, it's basically picking the whole entire premise of the show is that no particular person can be no perfect body type exists. I mean, you've got people. It
really doesn't.
Yeah, you've got people that are sumo wrestlers competing against CrossFit athletes, against gymnasts, against dancers, against. I mean, it's a social media influencers. I mean, it's incredible. And what's so interesting about the show is it takes and it just absolutely the whole purpose is to separate the idea that your body and your physical attributes have to be something that you have to look in order to be fit, right? And it just kind of made me think of that. Your comment of I no longer looked at what I looked like versus what I was capable of, and these are physical competitions against other people. And I think that at the end of the day, I think the guy that won the very first season was like a Winter Olympic athlete. Like what? I mean, you've got guys in there that are incredible physique and all this stuff, right? The shift in the mindset of that also leads me to this question. I mean, I always knew you as a dancer, right? I mean, obviously I'm older than. I don't know. Let's see. What's the age difference there?
I think you're Scots, right? So
yeah, I'm just a little bit older than Scott.
Okay,
but
so I'm 41.
Okay, so we're 5 years difference.
Yeah.
So, because I always knew you as a dancer, that's how I knew you, and then seeing your shift from the dance side and the athletics and all that stuff into the CrossFit side of that, and always watching from afar, just going, holy cow, this is so cool. Like, I mean, I lived in Arizona for 10 years. Well, I lived in a lot of different places, but it was really cool to be someone like, being away and being like, oh yeah, did you see that? Like, yeah, I know her. It was literally that way, Michelle, because what you were accomplishing was really, really awesome. And what I think is really even more impactful is the mindset side of that, of shifting the idea of the look to the ability. When did you realize that one was more important than the other? At what point did it kind of just click? Like, okay, this is where I go with it.
Well, I mean, I was training for a bikini show.
I've done 2 of those. Yeah. I lost both of those, by the way.
So, and I can admire a lot of things about that. Like it teaches like extreme discipline. But I mean, yeah, you've got to discipline with the diet and very like I love that part of it. It does teach you that, but like there's no longevity there, and it's all bias on what one person thinks about your proportions or whatever. Like, who says that's the way it should be? Anyways, so I was doing my first bikini show, I across the lady just asked me, come to this gym's opening next to me. Like, she just asked me to come in. I'm like, sure, I'll go to it. I really knew nothing about CrossFit, didn't care about it, wasn't looking for anything new. I walked in, and at the time I probably weighed 145. I'm 5'9", 145. My body fat was under 15, so I was lean and especially for a female. Like, I literally was like a few weeks away from doing this bikini show, and I like see girls doing pull-ups, and I was like, I can't do that. I thought I was fit. Like, I was
Yeah.
walking around like I looked fit. I was like, I can't do that. And all of a sudden, I can't do that. I can't do that. Two, when you're introduced to CrossFit, and the focus is about what you can do, you have to eat. Like, so on top of, obviously, I'm like reaching this point in the phase of competition that I'm eating chicken. I'm not even putting any seasoning on it because I don't want to carry any extra water or sodium. You know, I'm getting ready to do a deplete, all these different things. And I'm sitting there going, oh, I want to go to CrossFit. So I was like, it was instantly like, and as a taller, like more athletic build, I spent my whole life trying to like shrink into this dancer that I like just wasn't naturally like where my body wanted to be, but like I wanted it to be there. I was forcing it to be there in probably unhealthy ways. So as soon as I saw that, I was like, I am like capable of so much more. I went through with the show, did the thing, and like I was on to bigger. I was out. I was on to big, like no looking back. I think that why I mean, people are like, you're, you know, crazy fitness, but when you are challenging your physical body in a certain way, like mentally, you have no choice but to transform because you can't survive. And that's why too it had become like such a spiritual experience for me too. And this is like probably more like as you get more competitive, because when you're challenging your body in that way and you're like reaching for more, um the very much spiritual experiences during those like those competitions that are loud and all this other things that you get done, and there's just so much that you learn about yourself. And so that's really my whole platform now is like, I don't have a weight, I don't have a scale in my gym. Yes, and there are some things that, you know, people that there are like healthy weights to carry and not, but like I will visit them if that's a conversation that we need to have, but that is not the focus. Because when people start focusing on what they can do, it transforms their mind. They start eating a certain way, they start living a certain way because they want to be capable of certain things that like I actually don't even have to really have a sit down conversation with it, and they just start transforming. Um, so yeah, I would say immediately, like my whole belief it just completely changed. And then obviously, as I started diving into the really competitive side, um, it just kind of magnified that. But
Yeah, because you ended up hitting the competitive side pretty hard, pretty quickly after doing that,
yeah,
right?
and
Yeah.
I mean, I did. Uh, I mean, I look back on it now, and relatively, I mean, at the time, it always seems slow. Progress always seems slow, no matter what. But now I, like, you know, I look back and I'm like, well, I did excel pretty quickly, and then that is when like genetics does come into play. Like it does. Like
Yeah.
you know, especially on that side of it. Yes, like I was able to get strong relatively fast. It felt slow at the time, and we're talking, you know, still some years. But yes, so I started CrossFit at 32 years old, which is also pretty old for a competitive CrossFit athlete. Um, and by 38, I was at the CrossFit Games. So within 6 years.
Mm.
Um, and that's relatively, I mean, on top of it, most people will never get that experience.
Right.
I think I like actually looked it up um, recently because I was like, the chances of me going back to the CrossFit Games after this injury, and it was like 0.05%. And that kind of pumped me up because I was like, really?
All
Okay.
right, I can be
Yeah, and then
that.
it did say, this is Chat GPT telling me this, so of course it's valid. And then, but it said, but an average person's chance that doesn't have like the background that I've had is 0.001%. So
Oh,
I was like, hey,
there you go.
Okay.
0.005 didn't sound so bad.
No, not at all.
But yeah, so yeah, competed there, and then just have done multiple regional, international, and then if you know the kind of the hierarchy of CrossFit semifinals, kind of lived in all those different places for a while.
You were,
So,
correct me if I'm wrong, you were a ranked athlete at some point, right?
oh yeah, for I mean multiple years. I think like semifinals, there's like 30, I want to say it's 30 people that go to each semifinal,
Okay.
and there's like four of them, maybe five, I can't think right now. And so we're talking, this starts with hundreds of thousands of people.
Yeah.
And so the year that I qualified for the CrossFit Games, I qualified going as number 5.
Wow.
So
That's so
the year
cool.
before that, though, I missed it by nine spots, and they took 10, and I was 19. So in 30 to 35, they took 10 competitors. I was 19th, and I was like, if I give this one more year, do I have it in me? Like I gotta leave. Like I can't stomach that again. That was painful.
Yeah.
9 spots. So I was like, I got to seal the deal this next year. So anyways, yeah, number
That's
5.
incredible.
But
That's awesome. So now that we're getting into, that side of things, I'd like to have you tell a little bit more about the mental state where you kind of got into the Tsavo side. You talk about the meaning behind that name and why you did what you did with that name and the symbolism of your logo and all of that kind of stuff, which obviously was influenced by where you just came from with all these competitions and things like that. So give us a little bit of insight on that.
I mean, as I'm pursuing all of these, competitions, I can also say that it's like a lonely pursuit, because I mean, you're living in a way that nobody else is living around you. Like I'm dedicating at least 4 hours a day to this. And then I have to sleep. And then obviously, like if you're not doing that, you're eating. And so actually, Lincoln, my son, just asked me, we were talking about stay-at-home moms, and he was like, well, what did you do? What do stay-at-home moms do, Mom? And I'm like, oh, stay-at-home mom, a lot of things. And he was like, well, what? He's like, well, when you were at stay-at-home mom, what were you doing? And I was like, actually, I was working out. Like,
Yeah.
that's kind of what I was doing. Yeah, I mean, I would go in the morning, or I'd take them to preschool. I'd go work out. I'd go come pick them up. If they were napping, I was working out. And when I did that, I kind of made a promise to myself that I would never miss a kid's game. I would never miss anything of any kids. Like all my stuff was always in a weird schedule around everybody else's. And so, yeah, that every day just looked different, but I knew what I had to get done. And so back to I'm competing. You're like living in this, also this like this mindset that I know that I'm trying to kind of achieve something that is kind of impossible. I mean, but at the same time, like there's like a weird side of me that knew that I could do it. Like I knew that I could do it. And so, so when you're in that spot, like, yes, I'm like listening to podcasts and all this other stuff, because I'm in my own mind. And so then you start like spiritually, like I feel like it just connects you in a different way because you spend a lot of time alone, and then you're also, physically pushing your body. And so like a lot of prayers involved, and like I just like you started to know myself in a different way. So as I'm competing, I also was like recognizing that I've also been given these opportunities that a lot of people have not been given, relatively quickly, that people have been doing this a lot longer than me, and they still haven't made it. Like, so I knew that I was blessed in that way. And so I tried to always like be like, this is also a very selfish pursuit that I'm pursuing. You have to be selfish. Like if you're like trying to be competitive in anything, a lot of it is about you. Like,
Yeah.
and so as I was doing that, in the back of my mind, I always was like, I at some point, like I need to share these things with other people because this has been a selfish pursuit. Now I need to share my gifts and talents and the lessons learned with people. So I knew at some point I might open a gym, and I was at a gym that I didn't really align with, like, maybe their morals, or not that they're bad, they're just not mine. They're just different than me. And so I was there, but I was just kind of existing. Anyways, at a time I was kind of feeling uneasy, like, should I do something, should I not? But I'm also really, trying to compete right now. Is this really the time I should, try to open a gym? COVID is hitting. And then gyms kind of started shutting down. Tons of people started calling me, hey, like, can we come in your gym? I have a small gym in my garage. Oh, can you train me? My gym's closed. And so I'm like, COVID like built my gym, which is really weird because
Destroyed a lot
COVID
of others.
destroyed a lot of things for a lot of people. So um, I had been preparing to do this, but I didn't know it was going to happen this year. Anyways, I had kind of an interaction at a gym that I was like, I just can't show up there anymore and represent what's happening. I need to remove myself. So 2 months before, I'm trying to, like, my big qualifiers that, the year before I had failed. I decide that I'm going to open a gym on top of, in 2 months, I have my massive qualifiers to go on to the games. Why would you not do it right then? But I needed to, like, I was like, I walked out the doors the one day and I was like, it's today. Like I'm actually not going back. And so that kind of evolved that way. And so then I look into opening up a CrossFit gym. I literally called the realtor that day, drive over there. I'm like, hey, I'm doing this. Like, we're doing this. I already have a few people training my gym in my garage. And so I was like, I guess if it's me and them, like, cool, like, whatever. It's us, and I got a few people with me. And CrossFit, there's like 15,000 affiliates, and every name has to be different, worldwide, not just like territory. You have to, like,
Oh,
CrossFit
wow.
something. Yeah. So when you're trying to come up with a name, and there's already 15,000 other people who have, like, CrossFit barbell and CrossFit, who knows, resilience, like,
Yeah.
but I didn't want something that was like that, you know, I wanted something with, like, something like symbolic of something. But, um, so just thinking, I loved the lion, just more so because of the mentality behind a lion. Um, just like that they're actually not, like, maybe physically the fastest or the strongest, but like why they are, I guess, king of the jungle is because of their mentality. Um, and so love the lion. I just, yeah, through, like, a lot of research, Tsavo. Tsavo is a breed of lions. I don't know if you've ever seen Ghost of Darkness with,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Good movie.
yeah, that's the Tsavo lions.
What?
Oh.
Yeah. The Tsavo lions that I think they, like, killed like 32 or 132
Yeah.
men or something, and they couldn't be stopped. Or, and not that I, like, want to be like a man eater or anything, but yeah,
There's
so
subtle hints there. You better
yeah.
tell Luke to watch out.
I know. Um but yeah, so that's, I mean, it's like CrossFit Tsavo. That's like, my logo is just like the silhouette of a lion, super simple but, like, bold. And um yeah, it just means that's what it is. That's why it's CrossFit Tsavo. But um and I like talk about that often at the gym, because I want, as, like, I'm training people, like, physically, like, the mental transformation is is a bigger part. So that's kind of the
Um,
focus.
so I have a question for you then. Um, Starting something's hard, right? It doesn't matter what it is, whether how prepared we are, there's still an element of hard that comes with that. Um, and we one thing that we always do, excuse me, every guest we send a little bit of a questionnaire. We just want to know a little bit where you want to go with it, and, like, what we can help share your story. And you said something in yours that I thought was really, really interesting, and I want you to kind of I don't know what is going on. Share a little bit more about this thought. But you wrote in here, you said the secret to success is really getting really good at overcoming failure and refusing to give up. Why do you think, as a business owner, hey, we had another guest, I love it.
Yeah, tell her she's going to have to come on if
she's on next. She's on. She makes you pop in. You got to get on here. Why, as a business owner, an athlete, a coach, a mom, a wife, a sister, a daughter, like any of those things that you could label to what you are, how's the adaptability between what you've learned between one aspect of your life adapt to another? And whether it's from, starting a gym or just, making the priority your kids, how do you teach that resiliency, or how do you teach any of those aspects in all facets of your life? What are you doing?
This was one of those things that like I experienced really young that I hated for so many years because it was hard. So growing up a dancer, my mom, she, bless her, was always like taking me to dance conventions everywhere. She was the dance mom, like signing me up for all these things. So when you go to a dance convention, they also like they like we're familiar with tryouts or whatever. Yes, they do like an on-site tryout, and this starts at like when you're 7 years old. So you get a number, you do an audition. This isn't like we're going to post it on the door. This is like you, pointing you out, everybody else, you're cut, you're gone. Which is really harsh. Even like I'm a dance mom now, my daughter's a dancer, and I take her there, and like my mom heart is like,
you felt that
tough.
Yeah.
And that was me. My best friend, she always picked, always picked. And multiple, like cut, like you're just, and then, but so then, yes, it hurts. You're sad, but then you show up again. And I wouldn't even say that it like the cut gets easier. You're still equally sad. You're like, gosh, it actually gets worse. You're like, when, and so I would say like, I thought about that recently just with my experience with my daughter, and a lot of the moms, they're like, gosh, this is so like, a lot of them, it's hard for them to like decide like, is this okay? And not that they're mean about it, but it is like they just run it like they do like in the real world, which that's hard for little people to process that. And then like, I mean, I think about my boys teams. Oh man, like they post it on the door, and like we're nervous about these tryouts, and I'm like, oh, and dance, like it's right there, like, and then you walk out and everyone sees you walk out. So at the time I hated that, and she always grew up getting, more like you'd get like a scholarship, and I won here and there, not as much as she did, but I still got, a small glimpse of opportunity that would, okay, that would keep me going a little bit more. And then I did an audition during college for a cruise line. So now this is like the real world. Like, like this actually matters. This isn't just like a weekend, I get a free dance camp weekend or whatever. And her and I went to this tryout in Denver, and it kind of was a full circle moment. Not that I didn't want it for her, but like she got cut. I didn't. And I'm like, oh my God, like in the first time, this is actually a job. Like we're going to get paid for this. Like this. And so that was like the first, like overcoming those feelings, of just keep going. So I think that kind of transitioned over into everything else. And then especially now, like through my CrossFit journey and like through social media, I do share a lot on social media, and I try to be real, but of course, like everybody doesn't really know the times, that the bad days, like the failures, and there where I was having quite a bit of success, and here like locally, like I had people reaching out to me and that gives me sponsors. So everyone, it just looked like it was easy, and it was, oh, like everything's like, but that was not the case. It was like a daily, like, oh, like I didn't do well this day. Show up tomorrow. And a lot of me is like that year that I made it, I'm like, literally the only reason I made this is actually not because I'm more talented than anybody. Like there's a lot of people and a lot of more fit people than me, that I just kept trying. Like I just kept doing it longer than a lot of people. They just quit. They give up. They too easy, And like even with my gym now, um, you know, like there's been so many, like it's grown relatively fast, but that's also come with some different problems because like in business, you know, business, like just because you're growing rapidly doesn't mean that I have all these ways to just keep putting into this when, you know, things are building slowly. So like navigating that, and then yeah, you do have just complications, like you're dealing with humans, imperfect humans that are really annoying. We love them.
Yeah.
I'm one of them.
I
So yeah,
know
you're
one.
navigating those. We're all navigating those, that you're like, you know, the good days, and it's just like I see people quit like so easily that I'm like, even now I've had people that are at my gym for 5 years and people walk in and they're like, "Oh," and I'm like, no, but they've committed to this for 5 years. Like they like you showed up for 5 weeks. Like they're that's not even here. They just
Hmm.
have like continued to keep coming. They actually were, they're no better than the person that wants to start. They just haven't given up yet, you
Hmm.
know? I'm trying to teach that. My youngest, or my middle boy, is on a team right now, and it's rough. Like we're on a rough, like it's a rough deal. And so like just a lot of defeat, like we're losing a lot. And I tell them, I'm like, you wanna know what? I know that this is not fun right now, but later on, like this will probably actually matter more than if you were to have a winning season, you know? Um, and what actually will matter, like you're learning more. I know that that's hard to see and feel right now, but like you just keep showing up. So I,
Absolutely.
I, I
I think honestly, it's a life lesson that we all knows there, but it's not one we want to admit. You know, we don't
mhm,
want to have to admit the fact that we have to do it again, even though it hurts so bad, or that was not that fun to have to do or deal with. And I think that the training that you're kind of going with, rather than, you know, just how hard it was, but also that you can actually do it. When you see that you can do it, it's
mhm,
like exciting. It's way more
mhm.
exciting to be able to find out
Well,
that
and I
you can do
think,
something than it was a little hard.
I mean, so I just bought a building.
Yeah, I saw that. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, and obviously like that went along with that was like, oh wow, like I'm responsible for this. Like, you know, like my
Mm.
building now, like if you know, if I wanted to quit next month, like I could, like, you know, like
Yeah.
yeah, I mean I wouldn't, but it's like okay, I don't have those ties there. And so like when you're getting ready to like purchase a big commercial property, like obviously the financial investment and all those things, you got to think through those things. They're like, hey, what would happen, what if, like what if
Yeah.
this, what if that, worst case scenario, playing through those things, you know. And I think that like that scares me so little, not because I'm like confident that it's just going to go, but I'm, after you've failed so many times, I'm confident that I would figure it out no matter what.
Hmm.
I'm
Mm.
like, okay, say that this happened, okay, well, like we would figure it out. um and so yeah, not that you like create confidence or you in always succeeding or anything, but I think that it just gives you confidence that when you fail, like you'll just keep going, like,
Yeah.
and figure it out, you know.
I
There's
think that brings
there's
up, oh, go ahead, Nate.
I was going to say there's something that I've said often, working with younger kids and youth and adults, even at that. I always tell people every single person, their version of hard is individual. You cannot place the individual, the version of hard for me may be entirely different than for Mike, and
Mm-hmm.
entirely different for you and everybody else that we encounter and we interact with. And that is a designed purpose. I firmly believe that we have to be able to figure out how to get through our own mud in order
Mm-hmm.
to get out of the mud and clean ourselves off because it's dried and we've gone through everything that needed to happen. You dust yourself off and you move forward. And you know, I also bring up oftentimes, like you look at I just got done watching the Yellowstone series, right? And in that, obviously it refers back to the 175 years of this ranch, and you know, and all the amazing things that had happened and what happened coming in. And we hear about pioneers and we hear about people coming from from Europe to America and all that stuff. I couldn't do that. There is no chance that I could be in a covered wagon. I don't like camping. Okay. Like, the good Lord knew not to put Nate on the earth at that time, because yeah, I would be part of the Oregon Trail game of getting dysentery and dying. Okay. But it illustrates a perfect example of that. No matter what time frame, no matter what is going on, we are all going to have our own version of difficult and hard. And I imagine that with the people that you train and the those that you interact with daily, you probably see that, you bring up the person that's been there for 5 weeks versus 5 years, and the person at 5 years, they're probably not trying to make it to be the peak athlete, but they've recognized something in themselves that is different, and that different means something to them. And I think that's why I love I love having people like you and some of the stories and the things that we get to interview and talk to people about, is that there's never a moment where we've had a guest in 3 years of doing this that has been identical. Never. There's always been different. And I think that's some of the value that we each get to bring to the human race, to our families and everybody else that we get a chance to interact with. There's something incredibly valuable about that.
I think about that. I mean, obviously, people share a lot of personal things with me, and I think to that often, that they'll tell me like what they're going through, and I'm like, oh, maybe I would pick what I'm going through. Like, I don't know if I could do that. Like, yeah, that it also puts your own things in perspective, that I'm like, I'm challenged with this, they're challenged with that for some reason. They needed this, like, I'm dealing with this, and it's different. It's different for everybody. And people handle things so differently, and yeah, it's interesting.
I think something though that is similar with everything that every guest that we've had, is the power of discussion, which is exactly the reason that we started this podcast, is to have those conversations about those things that are ailing us and that are making it hard, because we're helping ourselves learn something about ourselves, but also having somebody help us through that too, which then in turns help that person. And then, and so it's this full circle. And that's why I think, Nate, your video did so much better than the one about your Legos, is because I love Legos, but honestly, something speaks to me way more when it comes to a personal, feeling. People feel that same feeling inside, but they're not willing to say it out loud sometimes. And so they gravitate towards those things. And so, with you, Michelle, like, they've seen they've seen the rise that you've had, but then also I know a lot of those people have seen this exact, the lows that you've had because of your ailments with your bicep, and I don't even know what your other one is your knee or something, but which is the next subject I want to bring up anyway, is they've been able to see that mental strength that you've been able to continue to be for yourself as well as for them. And so kind of maybe touch on that a little bit on your I feel like mental health and mental strength, I don't know, how does that mesh together?
They're different. They're different.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're different in unique ways, but they're totally relevant to each other.
Right.
I mean, I know that at least at my gym, and I think it's not just my gym. I think it's fitness, that I'm like, people typically start for like superficial cosmetic or physical reasons. And physical meaning like, like heart or like something like that they're like, oh, I want to feel a certain way or live longer. And always people stick to something because of it mentally changes them. And that trumps anything. It trumps any feeling. And the mental transition and transformation that they have, like, is so powerful, that and it's because they're overcoming something hard. It's not because it's easy. If it was easy, it would be fun. And there's a little bit of, there's joy, and it is fun sometimes, but like, continue to keep doing hard things every day is because of the mental strength and the transformation that it gives them. I've also worked with well, specifically one kid that's dealing with a lot of mental, I mean, like I guess gender issues. That's the big thing right now. So I'm working with him during that, and that's been interesting. But the counselors also shared with me that he's like, this pushing himself physically has helped him make more strides mentally than anything, than any medication that it's given him. This medication leads to this medication to this one, whereas that physical push has changed him so much mentally that it's literally saved his life. I mean, because we've been low, but now, like, the strides that he's made, I've been working with him probably for about 4 years. He's off medications, like he's doing great. But it was that whole period of what he learned about himself mentally during these things that's built that for him. My knee, this is why this injury for me was like not just an injury. Like, we all do injuries, like, and I tore my bicep, whatever. It's like, okay, this is injured, I'm gonna do the rehab. This isn't fun. Will it be the same? I don't really know. Well, the knee thing happened. I woke up from a surgery. They performed a different surgery that I wasn't entirely ready for. Things were way worse than anticipated. I was in no way in a mental space, and that's why this put me into like, I'm not going to say a faith crisis, but I think more of like a purpose. Like what is my purpose? This like all of a sudden I lost my purpose through this, which maybe is a little bit of an identity thing when you're like, I'm so into this thing that my life has revolved around for so long, because I was angry, because I'm like, oh, like, I've always acknowledged that you've given me these blessings and talents. Like, the Lord has blessed me with these things. You've helped me build this gym. I've tried to like base this on like values and morals that I think are virtuous. I tried to give my services to people. Was my real intentions, are my real intentions. Then this thing happens to me, and they tell me, they're like, we don't really know if you'll ever be the same again. Like to be honest with you, like the same, probably not. Like operating at the capacity that you want to, probably not. Doing a little bit, maybe, probably. So then I'm sitting here like, okay, now I'm going in to coach these people, and this is when it was like, I've always been like, I'm thankful, and can I give these things that I love to people and be willing to sacrifice them and not have them myself. And I was like, I don't know if this is hard. I don't know if I can do this anymore. I don't know if I want to do this anymore. And not that I'm mad at them, but I'm mad.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, oh, so you literally like built me up in this way to now take these things from me to see if what, like,
Yeah, for sure.
Like, maybe this is like, I don't know if people like can relate with this. Maybe they can, like, in a different aspect of their life. I mean, I think about like Dr. Levitt in town. I know he relates with this because I look at him like, and this is like actually a bigger scale. He literally delivers babies all day long, and he has been able to, him and his wife have one child of their own. Like, I look at that and I'm like, and he literally cries. He delivers thousands of babies in his life, and he literally cries every single baby he delivers. And I'm like, how do you continue, like, but that is his mission now, is to give people what he, like, what he was able to, that him and his wife were able to have one child, and they were able to adopt, but that he blows my mind. And I'm like, you do it every single day, like on a scale that actually matters. Like, we're talking about a life here. But it kind of put me in that place that I'm like, oh, it's really easy to be thankful and for the things that you've been given, but all of a sudden when they're taken away from you, like, what do you do?
Yeah.
And so like people are like, oh, your knee. And like, I struggled. This whole year's been a struggle for me. And not just necessarily because my knee's injured. Yeah. But this is like put me in that space of, okay, am I going to keep doing this? Like, is this my purpose? You know, what else do you want from me? Like, am I not doing enough? Like, am I not deserving of these things any longer? Like, it makes you think all these things that like I've had to really sort through. And until you've like had to really sort through those, you don't know what you really think and would do, you know? So,
Well, the other side of that though too. Well, actually, maybe not the other side, but to go along with that, you may not know for a while.
right, I
Right,
don't.
and that's probably the hardest part. But you take that idea that we may not know for a while, and you go back to what we talked about before, which is the not giving up and doing it day after day after
Right.
day. Right, like it is literally two sides of the same coin, and knowing, you know, one day one I'm going to flip it and I'm going to be like, what the crap, this is
Mm-hmm.
horrible and I don't want to do this. And then the next day, like you started off at the very beginning here, somebody, the opportunity for service, somebody
Mm-hmm.
reaches out to you and you recognize, oh, it's not my problem, it's my opportunity now to take care of somebody else. And then the world kind of melts and we start to recognize that the world around us is equally more important, equally as important as the one that we live within ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And
That saved me this last year was like,
mm,
I'm so thankful. Like there was times that I was like, I gotta tell them that I can't coach for a while. I gotta take time off. Like I just can't do it anymore. Like I can't, I don't know if it's a female thing, but like I really like take a lot of people in my gym. I take a lot of their stuff. I carry a lot of it. Um, and so I was like, hey, I'm carrying enough of my own. And not because they asked me to, but I just like, I don't know if that's like the mom part of me. I don't know. But I was like, I think that I just need to, I have too many of my own problems. I can't go in.
Mm.
And then at that time, I didn't really have I had, you know, just a few coaches. I was like, I can't do that. So every single morning, I'm like, okay, I'm like, it's getting me out of bed. Like, I'm like, okay, I'm getting up. I've never been this person that like, what is happening to me? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and so I look back now that I'm like, at that time, I kept thinking, okay, I'm showing up for them. You know, I'm going to show up. I'm not going to talk about me. I'm not going to act like anything's wrong because then my energy is like going to be on them. Like I have to act like I'm fine. I'm not fine. Um, but every single time I did that, it was over. And I'm like, okay, they've actually carried me through this because if wasn't held accountable, if they didn't think I wasn't going to show up, I maybe would have quit. Like for the first time in my life, I maybe would have quit. Like they've been like keeping me, I knew I have to show up. They think I'm going to be there every morning. I got to be there.
Yeah.
And when I'm done, for a full hour, I actually forgot about myself. Hallelujah. You know what I mean? That you're like, okay, maybe those were crazy thoughts because I actually forgot about those for a while and I'm fine, you know?
Yeah.
yeah,
I think
So thankful.
yeah, I think the one thing I've noticed and that you've done a really good job, and we've talked about this on our last podcast, is the culture that you've created around, you know, your vision and what you want. You know, you said in your little thing here is I want people to feel valued, challenged, and capable. You've instilled that in what you're trying to achieve, because you believe it. As hard as it is, sometimes you believe it. So you're trying to make sure everyone else, and you've created this family atmosphere. Because I know people that go to your gym, and I've seen your social media. For those that want to check it out, it's awesome. It's CrossFit Tsavo on Instagram. But the great thing is you guys show up for each other at your competitions. Like there's parents there, there are kids there, there's grandparents there that are cheering them on. And it's like, I never would have thought of that as a sport to go and just hang out and watch either. You know what I mean? I mean, I know
Yeah.
it is, but like it's as much of a support sport as baseball or basketball, or you know, you're not going to miss any of your kids' things, and you make sure to show up for them. So I honestly, just from the outside in, I don't work out at your gym, so we can.
Yeah, Mike.
I can show you this.
No. Notice how he threw in, I don't work out at your gym.
Not at your, I don't work out at all.
He doesn't work out at all. I mean,
but
I just had elbow surgery, so there's my.
Yeah. But anyway,
I'll come see
honestly,
you eventually.
I know that it's because of that you know, you get that, but I know that your people that go there get that same thing. They can forget about themselves for that hour too. So I do commend you on that. And I've never
thanks,
even
sir.
been to your gym. So
We know where it's
there's
at. We're
good
familiar with
people.
the building.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's moving. It's moving, and you're going to be there, Mike, because I have an indoor baseball facility, and I think you're a coach now. And
I
I'm
am
pretty
a
sure
coach. Yep.
Trent's going to be renting that out. So whether you want to be there or not, you're probably going to be frequenting CrossFit Tsavo, maybe on the baseball side.
I'm okay. I'm excited to be there. So
Yeah.
Well, is there anything else that you would like to say as, you know, as like, what, you know, to help the listeners understand, you know, we always talk about moving forward, you know, is there anything that you feel that, you know, our listeners need to hear in order outside of what you've already magnificently
I know. I'm like,
said?
I've talked a lot.
You've done amazing. No, this is exactly how
It's the reason
our
that you're
episodes
the
go.
guest, Michelle. So
Yeah.
but I more than anything, like, and this is kind of whoever walks through my door. I just think that
Oh, I think we lost you for a second. Did we lose her?
Uh-oh. Did we lose Michelle? This would be the first time that we have lost somebody in the middle of
Right
recording.
in the peak.
How much you want to bet somebody called her?
Maybe. That's funny. Let's wait a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are not watching, we lost Michelle right.
And if you're doing just the listen part, the reason for the lull is we didn't cut her off.
Nope.
We
She's
lost
probably
her.
still speaking.
She is. She's probably doing the whole, wait, how much of that did you hear? Right?
Yeah.
That's probably what's happening. Well, it looks like we lost her.
Off.
All right. Well, I think that's a good spot, obviously, to end it. I'm sure that in some fashion she was going to share that they're capable of doing more. And
Absolutely.
I think that's a great message to end on. And really excited to have Michelle on here. And hopefully everybody gets a chance to check out more about her and what she's building with the community. And with that, we will see everybody on the next episode. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
This has been Lift Me Up. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, review, and subscribe so more people get the content. We can't wait to be back for the next show. But in the meantime, find us on Facebook and Instagram at liftmeup.podcast and the website at liftmeuptalks.online.